Morning, everyone. Top of the Monday to you. The sun's coming up in Las Vegas. Let's go over week 13. Sorry I didn't get up a week 13 preview video like normal. It's been a super busy week, but hey, you got to get stuff done. So let's talk about what happened in the file. Somehow the file slightly wins a tad bit of money. Slightly. 0.03 units goes 10 and 5. However, it was a very difficult week to make money, and let's talk about why and what happened in a lot of the games. So, started off with a really rough Thursday night. Saints, one of our darling teams, ends up going down and doesn't score. They look so sluggish and terrible in their offense. Even the refs were trying to give them that game, and it couldn't happen. So, difficult there. So that was a rough start to the week. Then, what you have is Indianapolis. Ugh, what a crap. This was just utter junk. They were only slightly favored, at least in win strength. We had them at 29-25. They don't even put up any points. So this is all under and nothing. If you went to that game, they should give you a refund. That sounds like awful. All right, Carolina and Tampa Bay. Carolina lets us down on the road. Usually a better team on the road. I think I would have had them all the way up around right there even. Didn't happen. So let's get these teams down to what actually happened. That's always fun to do here, right? You got to bring the Saints down to almost nothing. And then that's about right. Dallas plays about as strong as they're going to play at home, but the Saints just were not there, right? Indianapolis, that's funny. Oh, even if you bring them down to 0, they get some. So you got to bring them, what, negative something? This is funny. I've never had to do that. You actually have to bring the Saints down to a negative effort to get them to 0 points in this game against Jacksonville, who also played 1/5 of the team that they are. That's what I'm saying. You should get a refund if you went to that game. Panthers, you got to bring them up. Okay, so Panthers really didn't play well. Yeah, that's tough. And then Bucks, about 3/4 as well, maybe. Yeah, something like that. So, yep, the Bucks came to play. I don't know if they're still trying to catch a playoff berth or what. The Ravens did enough. Okay. I like this. The Ravens showed up as much as they needed to. Beat the Falcons, which are really not a very good team anymore. Their glory days of seasons past seem to have gone. The Browns didn't pull. I thought the Browns were going to pull this game off, but they were pretty much gone and didn't have a chance most of the time. Didn't really play well. Houston is a team that does really like to win when we pick them in the file, so I kind of understand that. So they came to play and they really shut down the Browns. The Bills did not look at that. They were just like a touchdown short. You can see based on that score, right? That's so close, and we hit almost on the button, it looks. Yeah, we hit Miami basically on the button at a 1-1 strength at home. So Miami holds off Buffalo. They hit the under in that game. Yeah, that's a tough game to pick. You would not have hit the over even at the low under of 40. That's surprising. I guess Buffalo really couldn't put the offense together. Here we have the Bears. Now this game really, really killed us, and that's why. So the Giants outplayed themselves a little bit here, and the Bears couldn't come back even after tying it very late in like the last play of regulation. They'd lose the coin toss or whatever, lose the field goal, don't do anything, throw an interception. Bummer. That game hurt. They were 52% win strength. I'll show you in the sorting of all the teams by win strength why that game hurt so much and really prevented us from being profitable this week. That was such a killer. Denver was consistent with what we had thought here, and they really held the Bengals down. Lower scoring game than you would have thought, but they definitely held off through the Rams. Yeah, the Rams are reliable. The Rams should have been in your, not half as many points as we predicted for them, but they really shut down. Yep, they shut down Detroit like we thought. We had Detroit almost pegged correctly. This game stays under. Rams not putting up as many points as they used to. Arizona is a surprise here. This game killed a lot of people. I didn't have a lot of action on these games. I was doing a million other things, so it didn't hurt me as much. That's why I kind of was a little distant from football this weekend. But boy, does this really stink for you who had the Packers. Man, who really do not come to play in this game. They have just thrown in a towel on the season and let Arizona beat them. That's awful. The Chiefs, boy, we're really good with the Chiefs, aren't we? Mahomes is very reliable. That's great right there. Chiefs not as many points as we thought, and the Raiders scored twice. The Raiders have been playing. Look at that. This is twice that I've had in the last few weeks that I've had to up the Raiders home and away factor by like 2 or more. They did it last week too, I think. So they've woken up with some more offense later in the season. This game, look at how we picked this almost exactly. That's amazing. Wow. That's an amazing pick right there. So you could have caught the over, and you would have known to taken the Jets with the spread or the Titans money line. It's a terrible price of minus 500 for the Titans there. So, they let that game go, but it's really crazy, our point predictions there. Minnesota, the Vikings. Why? Where was the Vikings offense? That's a good question. The Patriots really have started to play like the Patriots of old. And look at that. Looks like the Patriots, they've been having some lower scoring winning games. It's a sign of a team that's going to win in the playoffs. That's your Belichick's Patriots right there. They really make Minnesota look foolish, I guess, on offense. This was very predictable here at home. You've got the Seahawks doing exactly what they should do and holding down. Holding the Niners to 3/4 of what they are normally. That game also went over the points, which we probably would have predicted, I think, at the beginning. Yeah, that would have been a good game to take the over. Chargers and the Steelers. We had Chargers here as the dog winning, and they pull it off, and we got our point predictions so close to right that it's scary. Oh my God, look at that. Wow. Amazing. You would have told you to hit the over and told you to hit the Chargers. I did have the Chargers in some stuff. That's amazing. So looking at all that, how does that roll into the pick history of everything? And the answer is this is the week by win strength, and we go 10-5, slightly up points, right? And then you can see by win strength percentage number here which team this was. This was Kansas City. They won, but they only paid 8 cents on the dollar because the line was like negative 1,200 or something. So even winning 4 out of these top 5 games, you still, if you throw that in a parlay card, which I did over here, you see that these 5 games, if you ran them in a round robin, you because you lost the Bears, you actually slightly lose 4% ROI and everything. It stinks. Like you get 4 out of 5 and you still don't win money because the odds were that rough. Was there any way to win here? The answer is I don't think so, because you had to have the Bears. The Bears were a huge favorite. Then you also get stuck on the Saints on Thursday night, which you would have taken. And I stayed away from the Packers, but only because I wasn't really watching the games. So Denver it liked, Tennessee it liked, Carolina it liked, but the payouts were bad. They can see that the lines were really difficult to deal with, and it was not a good week. It was like the picks we wanted to win that we're going to pay nicely. Some of our dogs didn't happen. Like same thing by point prediction here. You got trouble. We really thought Green Bay was going to win that game. Denver pops up higher a little, and Seattle does, but doesn't pay. Would have stayed away from that Carolina team. The Bears, you lose. Patriots, you could win with. Patriots had a decent line, I guess. So what I think you really you needed to stay away from a lot of things, and I guess betting every single game, like this, did result in a win somehow, but it's a very boring way to play it, and I'm just, it was just a very difficult week. Like if we look from our week 6 to here, who are the teams that we're winning with, and how are we doing, right? Down 7 units in win strength that was. And if we look in point predictions, we're up 8.4 units, which is still good. But I wanted to look at teams for a second, especially by win strength. So our teams by win strength, what I'm going to show you here is the percentage of times we win games when the team chooses them. So the file chooses them. So the file has chosen the Bears in 8 games, and it went 5-3. 63% win percentage, even though the profit is not profitable. All right, which is kind of interesting. So there's two different things I want to like the Rams. That's why you could have said, well, if you looked at these teams, which of these teams have green over here, have profit over here, that we're playing in the week that we're favored? The answer is, well, it would have actually said, well, this is after week 13, so let's try it before week 13. What did it look like? See, the Bears were profitable and the Bears were at 71, so it would have told you to take them. It would have said kind of stay away from the Ravens, although the Ravens won. So let's say it didn't say stick with the Ravens, right? Like, let me show you how we can do this and kind of really drill down and show you alternate scenarios and how to make this profitable going forward. Because I didn't have a terrible day, but I was trying to see how do we use this to really win, right? And I think that you can say the teams we would have taken the Bears. We would not have taken the Ravens. So I'm going to remove teams that we wouldn't have taken. We would have taken the Rams because the Rams have such a high. They're 5-1. They're profitable. They're 83%. So we would take the Rams. The Eagles, we're not taking the Eagles. We're going to take the Redskins in this game tonight. Where's the Redskins? There they are. Redskins are only at 40% and 2-3. Oh God! See, it actually tells you did not take either of them historically looking at these teams, but we would definitely not have taken Philly. So we're going to move Philly out of here. Kansas City we would have taken because they're 4-1 here. Slightly not profitable because their lines are so terrible, but they're up at 8%. So we would have taken Kansas City. We would have taken Seattle, 4-1 profits. It's a huge one we would have taken. If you would have ranked these, you would have said Seattle would have been the #1 team we would have taken. Skins tells us generally to stay away, but you got to take somebody in that game tonight. And Philadelphia's playing miserable, so I do want to take the Skins tonight. Steelers. See, we might have said take the Steelers, but we didn't because we want to take the Chargers in that game. If you compare those two teams, the Chargers and the Steelers, I'll show you why. This is important. So you had this big game, right? Both these teams you were 3-1 with. The Steelers you were a little bit more profitable because the Steelers apparently had some better lines. Well, the Chargers had the better line in this game. And the win strengths were about even. The point predictions had the Chargers winning this game. Right here. The point predictions, when they were set at, when you're at away as 1.07 and they were home. Even so, even with the predictions with home and away factors that it was giving you, it still gave you a win for the Chargers by 1. They won by 3. So you would stay away from the spread, but take the money line. This must have been wrong. I think I had these reversed, right? It would have been like that. So it was pretty amazing to hit that game the way we did. But you can kind of look at this file, kind of see that we're very predictive with these teams. And so when we have a point prediction off of these teams, we're reliable with these teams. And that's why you have a point prediction oftentimes that's like that. There's a lot feeding into this. So just kind of looking at, man, it would have told you to take Indianapolis because we were 4-0 with Indianapolis and they got spanked. Oh my God, that's so annoying though. Houston, it would have told us to take, and we would have. Saints, it would have told us to take. Patriots, it would have told us to take. Chargers, we discussed. Stay away from Jacksonville. So it would have told us that Carolina's not reliable. Interesting. And the file wanted us to take Carolina, right? Yeah, they were favored 21%, although they weren't favored in point predictions. So at least there was a couple things telling you to stay away from them in this game. And, well, yeah, sorry, when you standardize the point predictions, yeah, we had Carolina for sure, I believe. So, um, tough thing. I'm just, looking, how do we do this? Cincinnati, we're going to stay with Minnesota, had been winning. Yikes. Dallas, Tampa. Oh, would have told you to take Green Bay. Would have said stay away from Cleveland. Arizona would not have told you. Miami would not have told you. Denver, it would have. So anyway, I will get some type of video up. I'm going to be traveling all over the place this week, but we'll continue to work on this as we go. I mean, I'm not really happy with this, but at the same time, I'm not all that upset. It was pretty cool. Team of reference. So yeah, it was a pretty interesting week. There weren't really any very reasonable lines offered, and on those games where we tried to hit them, we lost. Right? Like we tried to hit Cleveland and we couldn't pull it off. Even Chicago was a reasonable line, and we couldn't pull it off. We couldn't hit Buffalo over Miami at plus 160. And then you weren't offered much. No, nobody would have thought this was happening. Weren't offered anything. Weren't offered much. That's a reasonable line at negative 250 to catch that. When you look at the board, that was the best line of the night that we hit because we just couldn't have predicted Arizona, and I don't think anybody wanted to play Jacksonville. That's just Andrew Luck not being lucky at all. So, all right, that's a good enough video for today. We're going to go over hockey more later, but I have a ton of work to do. So, may your picks be winning.